Hey, Tammy, welcome to the show. I'm super excited to talk to you today.
Hey, Kelly, great to be here.
Fantastic. Okay, we like to jump right in on entrepreneur school because I know that
Awesome.
whoever's listening right now is also doing a thousand things, maybe driving her kids to yet another hockey practice or making dinner right now. So let's get into a juicy question right off the bat. And I'd love to hear from you. What is the best advice that you would give yourself if you were back at the beginning of your business?
Oh, such a great question. I think this is something I always ask people too. Like, what would you do differently? Right. I think my response to this is always get out of my own way. I think in so many ways, I was in my own way. Like, the doubts and the fears, and like, what do I do? And what if it doesn't work? And all of these things. And if I just would have gotten out of my own way and let it flow and let it go, then so much would have happened much faster.
Oh my goodness, that you're just speaking my language with that answer, seriously. So tell us a little bit more about what you do in terms of helping business owners with their startups.
Yeah, I help people going from employees to entrepreneurs getting their businesses started, growing their businesses and scaling them so they can not only replace their income, but exceed it because we have to get past that point. So, whether you're a mom now and not working or you're a working mom, I understand. Like, I started my business and started going through my coaching certification while I was still working full time with two little ones at home. And it's a challenge for sure. And so I try to help people to speed up that process, get the clarity to understand the things that they need to be doing and what not to do, because I think we waste so much time doing things that we don't need to be doing.
Oh, absolutely. You kind of choose to start a business and then you start Googling like anything, how to market myself, how to get registered, how to set up the
Yes,
legal side of things. And then it's just like an onslaught of overwhelm, right?
absolutely. I always say, like, as soon as you put that entrepreneur hat on and you like let the world know you're starting a business, all of a sudden you get targeted with all of these ads, all of these things saying, I've got the secret to your success. I got the one thing that's going to make you millions. And you get all these ads and things popping up in your social media, and you don't know what is right and what isn't right. Like, it's not their job to decide like you're at the right point in your business to be marketing to you. All they know is you're a business owner and they have a system and they think it's the right thing. But if you understand what to do in the first phase of your business, what to do in the next phase, then it helps you to be able to differentiate those and say, you know what? That's amazing. And I'm going to get to that at some point. It's not yet. Or that's not the right thing for my business because I have a strategy in place that I know is going to work. And so I don't want to get sidetracked with something else that isn't going to be the right thing.
Yeah. So, what are your tips for people out there in terms of how to put the blinders on and make kind of the right choices and not all of the things?
Right. All those shiny objects we call them, right?
Yeah.
So how do you not get distracted? I think one, it's so important in getting clarity. Everything starts with clarity, understanding what your strategy is, having a really good idea of this is what's going to work for me. This is what I need to be doing right now. And this is what I'm focusing on. So that when the other things show up, you're not like, oh, yeah, I need to try that. You're like, nope, I know this is working. I just need to continue to work it. And there's times when, yes, we need to add new things into our business and new marketing strategies, but it's like, let's master the one and get it working before we jump over to the next one. Because if we don't get that consistency, and really get that momentum going, then it's hard, it's difficult to like make that progress and really get the momentum you were looking for.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you the question that I know that I had, and probably everybody has at the beginning of their business, which is how long does it take?
Great question. Well, if you look at statistics, average business takes at least 3 years to make a profit. I mean, that's
Mhm.
just based on statistics. It doesn't have to take that long, but if we're looking at the industry on average, that is pretty average. And so being able to set yourself up for success in knowing those things, I think so much of it is because people don't know what to do in those first few years. They're just trying to figure it out. And so when you do have that strategy in place, when you are really clear on, okay, this is my next step, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing next, and have that progression in place, then you can escalate through that much, much faster. So you can be I've had clients who do it in a month. I've had clients who do it in a year, but some of it depends on your actions and what you're willing to do and the things you're willing to actually step out and make happen.
Yeah, and everyone has their own schedule too, kind of like workflow,
Mhm.
especially moms balancing like kids and activities and childcare and all of the other things too, right?
Yes, absolutely. It is a balance, like you said. And I know that's so much of what you help people with and helping them understand how do you do that? How do you have this business and the life that you're looking for? And so I believe time management is so key in all of that. Being able to really structure it, being able to set time aside for certain things, and even set time aside for family time. When I was still working full time and like going through my coaching certification, starting my business all in the same year, which was crazy. One of the things I did was I had a school night, I called it, where I was doing the school work from my coaching program. And my girls understood school concept, kind of. They were like in preschool at the time. And so they at least had an idea, okay, mommy's at school. And then we had certain time set aside during the week at night where it was like, this is our family time, this is game night. And we had some time on the weekends. And so they understood that. And when I was focused with them, I was so much more interactive and not worried about, okay, what do I need to do over here or at the job or in my business? And it helped me to be more structured because sometimes it's really difficult when you have all these other things going on. And so when you're with your kids, your mind is somewhere else. But
Yes.
when you can actually schedule that out and you're like, this is my dedicated time for them, and you know that, in a couple hours, you're going to have dedicated time to do something else, then you can stay more focused and they feel it and they feel more connected to you.
Yeah, that's huge. Like just having gone through the exercise of organizing kind of what your own week looks like so that you don't have
Yeah.
perhaps quite as much of that mom guilt
Mm-hmm.
the day of like, oh, I should be here and I should be there. I know I've felt like this recently. I pulled my kids out of childcare so they don't go to an after school program anymore. They come home at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So my work day is a lot different and I have this like, oh, okay, well, I actually am blocking my calendar now to take an hour off when they get home so we can, visit and have a snack and then they can go do their thing and I can maybe get like another hour of work in and then it's dinner time and whatever else. But
Yeah.
actually calling that out to be that
Mm-hmm.
specific dedicated time makes it so much better than when I was just like sitting down here going, "Oh, my kids are probably on their tablets again or watching TV or doing
Yeah.
something that I don't want them to do, but I'm here working." And so,
Yes, or they interrupt you and then you're like annoyed because you're trying to get something done. So knowing you have that like time with them right away makes a huge difference for them and you because they feel like they, can connect with you, tell you what's going on with their day. And then they're like more prepared to just go out and, do their thing for a little bit while you can go back and focus.
Oh, that's such good advice. You told me before we got started with our recording that you have a story about your daughter and running her own business.
Yeah. So my husband is a chiropractor and we like our kids like to come into the office and play assistants, actually be assistants when his assistants are off. And so a couple months ago, one of our daughters had Monday off of school and we're like, okay, Tegan, this is your day. You get to come into the office and help daddy, because one of his assistants was going to be out. And so, we had been talking about it for like a week. And the morning of, she like drags herself into my office or my bathroom as I'm getting ready. And she's like, Mommy, I don't want to go work in daddy's office today. And I said, well, why not? And she said, because I could stay home and paint today because I have a kids market coming up and I can make money doing what I love. So why should I work for someone else?
Oh,
And I just kind of I did what you did. I kind of just like stopped and I laughed. And she's like, what? And I'm like, I can't argue with you. That's
yeah,
what I tell my people.
yeah.
Why go work for someone else when you can do what you love? And so the kids market she had coming up was actually something she created. So she started painting and doing jewelry earlier last year. And we got to like the summer and she's like, well, Mom, I'd really like to start selling my jewelry and selling my paintings. And so she's like, so how can I do that? She's not on social media and she's, not putting herself out there in other ways like that we could as adults. And so I asked her, I'm like, well, what do you think are some ideas of what you could do? Because people really need to see your paintings if they want to buy it, right? It's hard to sell a painting virtually or to people who don't see the options that you have. They have to resonate with it. And so as we were talking, she's like, well, Mom, I think we should do a kids market in our neighborhood. And I said, well, tell me more. What's a kids market? And so she's like, well, we would just have all the kids in the neighborhood who have businesses come together and everybody can sell their products and services on a given day. And I'm like, it sounds amazing. Let's do it. So she went home that night without being prompted. She put together this whole PowerPoint presentation on why the board of our neighborhood should allow her to have a kids market in the neighborhood. So she's put together like all the benefits, what it was going to do for the neighborhood, what it was going to do for the kids. And she like comes back into my room and she's like, Mom, I want you to look at my PowerPoint. How does this look? And I'm like, what PowerPoint? Why did you create? She's like, well, I have to convince the board, right? And I was like, well, yeah, we do. And so she thought she was going to have to do the whole presentation and like talk to them. We were lucky enough where they let us just send it to them and they approved it. And so they approved her kids market and we did the first one in August. And we had 28 kids in the neighborhood come out and sell. It was amazing. Like, so we were so excited. I mean, it was so much fun to see these kids see all the products and services they do. There was this one kid there had this like juicing business. It was like he
Yeah.
had his special bottles. He had been like doing this since he's only 11. He'd been doing this for 4 years. He had his juice like in the markets down the street. So it's incredible what even kids are doing. And I share that because I want you guys to understand like what you're doing in your business is setting an example for your kids and they are seeing it. And so this is one of the things that you're doing by creating your business, by really nailing it in your business and being successful. Your kids see that and they're inspired by that and they come up with ideas that are really going to help them be business owners. So you keep giving as a mom, we keep giving to our kids, and they're really seeing that and recognizing it and taking things on themselves and taking things to another level for them.
Oh my goodness. You must be so proud, first of all. I'm happy that that
Thank you.
happened. That is so cool. And I think you nailed it, right? Like that's the legacy that we want to give to our kids is that
Yes.
freedom of choice and really extending, showcasing the value that you have around wanting to be in charge of your own schedule. And what your daughter said about why would I go work for somebody else when I can make money doing what I love? That's amazing.
Yes, they give me great things to talk about. So,
Oh, so
but
good.
I think we learn so many lessons from our kids. It's just amazing what they give to us, right? We feel like we're constantly giving to them as moms.
Mm,
And there's times when you got to stop and step back and be like, okay, what are they teaching me today? How can I get in that childhood like mode and be creative and think of different things because they're there to teach us as well.
yeah. Yeah, that's so good. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I have one more question for you before we kind of start wrapping up.
Sure.
Because I think one of the things that I talk about is just like the simplicity of some of the actions that you can take that are really going to have a huge impact when it comes to getting your business started, making, reaching more people or finding clients. I call it messy action. So
Yes.
I'm wondering, what is one thing that you think is so obvious, but like blows away your clients when you get them to implement this tool, strategy, tip?
Oh, so there's so many things that just came to my mind, but I want to come back to like one essential for getting started. I think so many time we think that we've got to go create all this stuff, right? Like we've got to have a website and you've got to have a funnel and you've got to have a freebie, like all of these things. And so people get caught up in trying to go create in the behind the screen, right?
Mhm.
And not spend time getting out there. But 99% of businesses get their first clients from the people they know. And it's not that that person is your ideal client, but they can refer you to someone who is. And so, one of the simple strategies to get started is just in the right way. And then we have like really good templates they don't feel like templates that help people do this, but reaching out to the people in your network to really let them know how you're helping, how you're serving, or what your product is, and asking, who do you know that might be interested in this, and asking for connections.
Mhm. Yeah, so simple. Just ask. Just put yourself
Just
out there,
ask.
right? What
Yes.
is the worst that can happen? That is my motto.
Yes, absolutely. Can I share a quick story about asking?
Yes.
So, speaking of kids teaching us things, I was tucking my daughter in the other night and she asked me for a back massage and a foot massage. And as I'm giving her her back massage, I said, I think you're a pretty lucky girl because I don't think every little girl gets a back massage every night. And she looks up at me and she's like, Mommy, that's because they don't ask. And so we've got to learn from them, right? Like, if you don't have what you want, it's because you're not asking. So you've got to get the clarity and understanding of what it is you really want, get the confidence and courage like she has to ask for it, and be committed and consistent. Because we tell her no one night, she's right back asking again the next night. And that's what we need to be in our lives and in our businesses.
That is so good. And you know what? That reminds me too. I have one of those, the girl, she knows what she wants. She asks for it all the
Yeah,
time. There is
they
no
do.
questioning what Zoe wants. And like if we could all just go out there with that same level of confidence and reckless abandon, right?
Exactly. And they'll keep asking and negotiate. But where did we lose that? We got told no so many times. We got told not to ask again. And so it's something that I've actually recognized in myself too with my kids. I'm like, if she comes back with a negotiation that I'm like, I can't argue with that. I'm like, okay, you win, because kids need to learn to win too. Because
Mm.
otherwise they get to the point where a lot of us, learned as a kid to just stop asking.
Oh, oh my gosh, Tammy, this has been such a good conversation and so eye-opening in so many ways. I love how we've like come all the way around to like what you can learn from your kids and the example that you set for your kids and how simple it truly can be to go out there and start doing the thing to get your business off the ground and seeing your passion become a success. Before we wrap
Yeah.
up, can you tell me, please, tell everyone listening how they can connect with you, where they can find more about you, how they can continue to learn more from you?
Yeah, absolutely. Connect with me. I'm on most social medias at Tami Jaffe, Tami J Jaffe on Instagram. And you can reach out to me if you are interested, and you can get my jumpstart kit at thejumpstartkit.com. And that's to help you get a jumpstart on your business.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Thank you so much for being here.
You are welcome. It's so great being here. Thanks for having me.